Why Russians claim that Alexander the Great of ancient Greece reached Siberia. Alexander the Great lived about 330 BC. An unknown and questionable part of Alexander the Great's campaign and his past is that he may have reached Siberia, and the evidence is there. Historically, let's mention that. Al-Omari, the secretary of the Sultan of Egypt in the 14th century, reported that in the land of Siberia, which is very cold and snow covering everything for 6 months, went merchants as far as Yugorskaya, where few people lived. Beyond Yugorskaya is the north with constant darkness, where there is nothing except a large tower built by Iskandar. Iskandar is what they called Alexander the Great. They still call him Iskandar in the Arabian countries. Quintus Curtius Rufus, the Roman historian, orator, famous for his work, The History of Alexander the Great, said the following: "However, most of the year there is so much snow everywhere that there is no sign of birds or any other animal. Eternal darkness covers the sky. Day and night, with great difficulty, you can distinguish what is next to you. There was absolutely no human presence, and the army of Alexander the Great suffered disasters from hunger, cold, excessive fatigue, and despair." It should be noted that in recent discoveries in these northern frozen regions, a bronze statue of Hercules was found, as well as Macedonian weapons and chests. The officers are made of gold while the soldiers are made of silver, and it's still believed that there are 3 tons of Alexander the Great's gold there. The bronze statue of Hercules. The specific written texts are small samples among many documents. Studies on them showed that the information is authentic. From the lengths of the shadows of the trees at noon, today scientists deduced that latitudes and longitude that Alexander the Great and the scientific crew that accompanied him had arrived there. A map of 1673 to the west of Lake Teletskoye is defined the road to the Katayev country, which met with the road of Alexander the Great. Professor Bernard Heuvelman, Soviet scientist in the US, Ivan T. Sanderson, Doctor of History and Philosophy, Boris Fedorovich, support the theory that the Gog and Magog, that Alexander the Great was a Neanderthal. A lot of evidence was found about the place where Alexander closed Gog and Magog. Remnants of the Neanderthals were the filthy tribes, the abominable races, the Nephilim, that is, Gog and Magog, who lived in 6 cities, as Diodorus writes. The main city was on a steep rock. It was called Auron. That's where there were no birds flying overhead. One of the ley lines of the earth. We know that this is similar to the Acropolis of Athens. No birds fly overhead. And so Diodorus writes, the main city was on a steep rock called Auron. Hercules tried 3 times to conquer that, but failed. When the surrounding inhabitants suffered from Gog and Magog, asked for Alexander's help, he accepted this challenge, and what Hercules could not conquer, Alexander the Great giving 30 pieces of silver to an old man with his 2 sons, and they showed him a hidden path. And so Alexander conquered the city of the Auron rock, the rock where, the mountain, of course, where no birds would fly overhead. The map that the Russians showed with documents that Alexander the Great was approaching the North Pole. The photo found in Siberia showing petroglyphs found in Russian showing camels, probably once the area was not as it is today, covered with snow and ice. The climate might have been different. The question is why the Russians are proud of it and the Greeks hide it. The writings found in Egypt about Alexander the Great were taken by the Vatican and given to a group of scientists to study. And they wrote unknown things about Alexander. Enthusiastic, the scientists said to come to Greece to bring the translations. The church reacted, and as 4 newspapers wrote, the monastic community of Mount Athos burned the the ship Eleana that these scientists were on, according to claims. Okay? Please leave your comments about this, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.